extremely excited about this part. My expertise is in the Greywater, and I did the 5-day Greywater training with Chris, and I was integral in helping to put together that training. So I worked a lot in developing the sites, doing all the site assessments, and so I'm very familiar with that whole process. And I think that one thing that we were talking about earlier today that really excited me was this idea of a job bank. A list of job opportunities, speaking with local businesses, local contractors, and local landscapers in particular. Through my work with Daily Acts, I have a lot of contacts with the landscaping community, and I think that's key, is not only developing the training, but like Marie emphasized, the pathway to employment. So developing that link between the potential employers and then the trained students. So that's my, and also just to throw in there, my background with sustainability is also, I do landscaping all the time, sustainable landscaping, sheet mulching. We do lawn transformations constantly at my work, so I'm really familiar with that process, and I think that's kind of my take, what I want to bring to the table. I also wanted to say one more thing about Evelina spoke about this volunteer-powered trade with the trifold and the garden work. And in terms of collaboration with local organizations, that is actually something that is a really hot topic right now in terms of go local and developing alternative currencies and time sharing and time banking. And so not to say that everything has to be a trade, because it doesn't. It absolutely necessitates a revenue stream, but that can be an additional revenue stream in the form of grants and collaborations with partnering organizations. So that sort of attention to local economic development and alternative currencies in that way. So yeah, exciting stuff.
Thanks, Erin. So I'm going to just introduce you to the leadership development, sort of thinking around that aspect. And you'll notice in the goals, Amber and Anna, who are not here today, but of that group, you have a fabulous group of women that have connected with the community. Two, Liz and Annie, are, I'm going to say, professional community organizers, and they work regionally around different policy issues. And Amber, some of you have met Amber. Amber is the Director of Economic Development, I believe, over at Comfort and Human Development. And then Ana Lugo is an exceptional young lady, if you haven't met her yet. She's from the community, also in the fellowship class, has worked with the Institute as an intern, and she just has amazing skills at being able to connect with community members as well. So the ideas that we've been putting together around the leadership development is really looking at working one-on-one with your students around leadership planning. What is it that we can do to help support them and really build those soft skills that Evelina was talking about, but outside of just the technical resume interview skills? Their ability to shake hands with the politician, their ability to network and mingle. Maybe their leadership plan has other goals or other opportunities down the line that they've thought of but really haven't put down on paper that they can make tangible for them. And we also looked at even matching up as mentors to each of ourselves, matching one or two of the students as mentors during this process, that we can kind of help do some one-on-one work as well. And then in terms of leadership development, looking at also teaching them some of the community organizing skills, because as they go out into the community and become employable in all different areas, as Evelina mentioned in one of the videos, owning their own business, being able to connect in the community, I think, was another piece that we looked at for leadership development. Say 6 months. Aside from that, we want to lead kind of a long-term infrastructure investment, and in that we've talked about working with all of you. We're going to be asking you for some time in January to dedicate towards some strategic planning. We've been looking at a business plan or a strategic plan that will help build your capacity and take you to the next level that you want to get to. We're also looking at formalizing some of the aspects of the organization, such as the strategic goals, looking at the strengths, some of the challenges, also doing an environmental scan and looking to see where some of the forecasting where those challenges are going to be, with the intention of really developing clear pathways to funding, because we're really looking to build the framework for sustainability so that when this project is done, that we're able to leave those tools so that you can build the future that you want to build for your organization. And in the funding world, there are certain things that they look for. You've already found that out, that 501c3 is essential. It's just going to open doors for you. There's other systems that need to be in place to make funders really feel like that they can invest the money in you. And even now, the environment is so much more difficult than it was even 2 or 3 years ago because of the economy. So in the nonprofit world, we're seeing that we have to really prove what we say we're going to do. And when you write a grant, you say you're going to do something, they give you the money, then when you're done, you report on it, and then everything's fine. Well, now, funders are really watching what you're doing, either on a month-to-month basis, on a quarterly basis. And if you don't do what you say you're going to do, you got to give that money back. So, it really is a challenging environment now that we're working in. The other thing that we want to do is we want to build that confidence in the organization so you can go after some of those larger grants, those state grants, those federal grants, and be the institute that you've all envisioned, and share that knowledge and that experience with other communities that can then build off of your model as well. Okay, so those are some of the tangible pieces. Locally, you've already touched on this, Evelina, in your presentation, that we also look at investment in partnerships. It's important, it's essential that the private sector also puts you on their map, that sees you as a business partner, and helps create those pathways to employment that we've been talking about for your students, and that we look at some of the policy issues that pose challenges or obstacles to your youth in terms of finding employment. I know Jose talked about some of those challenges, and I'll just throw it out there. Immigration challenges is another big issue. So we're putting forth some of those concerns and taking it on as a team to say this is something that we want to invest in so that we can help open some of those doors for the students in your program. So,
sounds great.
A lot of work to do.
A lot of work to do.
But one of the things
Seriously, as the director, Evelina and I have pretty much done all 3 of you guys' projected goals. So I guess the question that I have for you all is, as directors, would it be feasible to have us at each of these goals?
As many as you'd like. I think one of the things that I was thinking about is really focusing you both on the capacity building part, the strategic planning, because we really want to get you running with these tools and working with your board after the 6 months is done. So we want to do kind of some intensive work with you as executive directors to build those pieces.
One of the gigantic needs that I keep sort of jabbing my fingers at both Evelina and Chris whenever we have the chance to get together is those organizational skills, organizational development skills that we need at this stage. You guys need to learn to manage, you need to plan, you need to set goals, you need to direct the rest of us. That's the biggest need that I think you guys could fill. You're doing wonderfully.
We're going to ask you to step away from direct services for a little bit and let the team work with those. And we want to work with you as in the organizational piece and really build your roots in directing this organization.